Good morning, patron subscribers. I want to start with gold because we had a really good trade set up yesterday. We sold it to the SLC. Just a reminder though, that if you zoom out on the H4, we are pretty strong, to be honest with you, and we are in an ascending channel. So we have to remember that. We saw a very healthy retracement there, and that was the low of the pitchfork. Now, we did break the lower pitchfork, and we really did rally since. So created like a V almost. So just a reminder about how strong technically the gold is, and we have to come in and zoom in a little bit to see the SLCs. Oops. And one above is at 1956, one below is at 1943. So you can see why they placed their stops there, just below that low. So we had a decent trade. 1975 break up here even. Yeah, it was a good trade, and we got to 1950, so it was a really nice little move there. But do remember that it's fairly strong, and we are in the ascending channel. We've got some fib supports that might come up as well at 1928-ish. If the SLC breaks, we've got a fib here on H4, so that might come into play. A break of that, we're going to probably come down to the zero. And note that we did break the zero here, but we really pumped. So we might see something similar happen potentially, a break and a pump. 1900, that's some time away. That's in April the 2nd, so a few days away, but might potentially see a break, and we might see like a pump like we saw here. So you've got to be careful, and it is probably going to maybe be around the round number where we have a break, potentially. Yeah, so we've got to be careful, but do note that we're quite strong technically, okay? Now, NU, I've had to make a physical note because I made a mental note, and obviously I forgot. Now, the physical note is that we're going to be using orders for entry going forward now from today. Every day we're going to be using buy or sell orders. The reason for it is that if we enter now, we're just entering at market, and it's pretty much like a gamble. If we have an order to buy a designated place, you know where your stop is. If you're looking to sell at a designated place, like monthly pivot, you know where your stop is. Entering now, it's like a gamble, really. So it's on me. If this does go poorly, I apologise. And obviously, my memory can't be relied upon being tired, so I've had to make a physical note, which is now on my monitor. Use orders for entry, SL and TP. All right, so potentially what might happen is that we have a test of the weekly open, which can happen. It's not that uncommon, and then we're going to see like a little flush. Potentially a scenario will take some liquidity, and then we're going to see something like that. So it's going to probably be a horrible day if you're along this. And then inevitably it might be doing a retracement thing. Right? It might want to come down, might want to test the weekly open. It might even want to get that stop loss cluster. So that's going to be quite horrific. So if you're in the trade, you could probably exit with like a small loss, and then you're looking to buy lower down, or you could hold on to it. But personally, I wouldn't. I'd probably exit, and you're looking for at least some sign that we're not going to continue to fall. And on the M30, it's looking fairly heavy. So that's on me, all right? So I apologise for that. So going forward from today onwards, we'll be using orders, all right? Unless, of course, there's something that's really clear, we can enter at market. But here right now, we're like in the middle of nowhere, and it's just chop, isn't it? It needs to seek a direction, and it might want to come down to, seek this weekly open. So nothing there. I mean, we did have the trigger from the signals, and we didn't originally do okay. It was like I think it was like a 19 or 20 pip move at 4:30. Yeah, triggered there. So, we had a potential scenario of doing okay, and now it's fallen. So it probably shouldn't really be fallen because the retail herd have sold it. Started selling it here. So we might see a test of 62.09. 10 pips away. Maybe you could look to exit if if we breach that 62.10, got 9 pips. So yeah, apologies for that, and we'll just be using orders going forward, unless of course something is really clear and we can enter at market. But on this, you know, we are within this range, aren't we? So we're probably 50% on that range. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it triggered about halfway in that range. So got to be careful. Oh, I guess we can look at GU. If there's any trade setups. Well, we're falling quite a bit. There's MR1. SLC is at 123.45, 123.45, and one below is 121.60. Monthly resistance could be a good one to target stop loss cluster. It's 33 pips. You could have your stop here, so that might be okay. Maybe we can have a look at this fib. So we're going to enter above the resistance. Stop here, fairly wide. It's not great, is it? Because if we get the SLC, it's just slightly greater than the 1R, but your stop's going to be there below the low, and you're looking to buy above monthly resistance. So I think because of the poor risk to reward, we won't publish it, but it might be an idea. You see the logic where we're going to buy above MR1, and your stop's going to be below the low, but it's quite wide. It's not too bad, 23 pips. So potentially something like this. So we'll keep this fib on here tomorrow, but I'm not going to publish this because of the low risk to reward. Because the stop loss cluster ideally would be higher up. And if we do come up higher, we're going to look to short at ATR target long. All right, so yeah, so I have to be careful. I'm just keeping an eye on NU on my other screen, and we are still falling. So it could be a case of some USD strength, and or it could be Kiwi weakness, but it shouldn't be if we look at the bubbles. So we're minus 13 pips on our current trade of the day. We look at the bubbles. There's Kiwi and USD. So it doesn't really make much sense why it'd be falling. But that's, you know, maybe it's just one of those things. It could be that we're just going to see payday for the HUD, which would be slightly annoying. GU, so it might be okay for a long with a stop there, but like I say, I'm not going to publish it, but we'll keep this fib on here so we can look at it tomorrow. And quickly go back to NU, to be honest with you, because I wonder what happens with that sentiment. They were selling it. Oh, come on. Right, so really we shouldn't have really been fooling. It's quite naughty, and it could be doing like a healthy retracement thing, but we are, like I say, completely in the middle of that range, so it's pretty much like a gamble. So you've got to be really careful, and you've got to know where your stop is. Now, entering in the middle of this range, where are you going to put your stop? You know, so that's why we're going to be using orders. EU, I had an idea to short yesterday, but obviously we never got filled on that order, so that's fine. The one above is at 108.40, one below is 108, so 40 pips between the two. Not really a trade setup there. Yeah, in fact it would have been the weekly open long to SLC potentially, but obviously it's hindsight. Nothing there to be said. I think this could be a good contender because you've got MR1 ATR target long, so if we do come up here, that could be a really good trade. Actually, that's going to be a good trade. Yeah, entry here. Oops, oh god, yep. Stop loss is there, isn't it? Just MR1. So that could be a good trade, couldn't it? We're waiting for price to get to ATR target long, and then we're going to have some healthy resistance on a technical basis. This is a monthly level, so that's a potential scenario where we're going to wait for this ATR target long to be breached, and that should hold as a double resistance, and you're looking to short, maybe to 3R. So that could be a really nice trade. So your stop is 13 pips to get 33 pips, you know, so it could be a nice trade. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you increase your size slightly, because the stop is quite it's quite cheap, it's a cheap stop, you can probably increase your size ever so slightly, and then of course your reward's going to be still be 3R, but you'll be generating more profit. So that's a potential scenario where we're going to pump and then we're going to short with a technical resistance at MR1. Note the respective monthly pivot. All right, so we know that these monthly levels are strong, and maybe we'll look at dollar Swiss, maybe, and yeah. So I'll publish that if we do go up. I'm not sure if we will or not. Nothing there. There's monthly support. Maybe. Yeah, I guess we could probably sell that with a stop here, couldn't we? Let's have a look at this. Right. And you could enter now with a stop here. Double resistance, isn't it? So, oops. Yeah, something like that. You could enter now. I know we're saying using orders and things, but might be okay. In fact, your stop loss could be there even. And then, oh, if we did that, then we can target SLC, couldn't we? So that might be an okay one. How wide is that stop though? Ooh, that's not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? Okay, so I'll publish this, and then we'll publish the EU, and this would be an interim market, I think. And your stop isn't too bad. It's at 91.83, and then you're going to target the stop loss cluster below. We don't want to see any wicks below, though, ideally. And this is based on pretty much that logic, okay? Admittedly, we don't really want the Swiss over there, really, but the dollar weakness should persist if the sentiment's going to play out. So we've got two trade setups there. And remember that we're going to be using orders for entry for the trade of the day tomorrow and then going forward, okay? This one could be an enter at market, potentially, but you'd maybe wait for some confirmation like an hourly candle below. That's what I might say, is that we're going to wait for the hour and then we're going to look to sell with a stop there. We're going to target the SLC, and that could be a 5-hour trade, which would be amazing. So we'll see how we go.